Yo, it's your Lord and Savior, Black Jesus here, to resurrect some old European history. Today, I want to be talking about three things from the 18th century. Those being the church hierarchy, the Catholic piety, and the marginal beliefs and practices happening during that time. Before we get into that, let me talk about today's sponsor.
I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Gorilla Glue. This stuff is so useful. Let me have sponsor Jesus tell you all about it. Have you ever been just like hanging on a cross on normal Tuesday after some angry Romans that thought you're a little too smart? You know, they don't understand me. They don't know me. They don't know me, son. They don't know me. Sorry about that. But like I was saying, you know, when you're hanging out on a cross because some Romans left you to die, and during those slow last moments of your life, you're thinking, oh, it's over. But then that darn cross decides to snap off. And you're like, what do I do? Well, I got the solution for you. Gorilla Glue will fix that. Well, you could also use it to get your hair to stay down. Well, if that doesn't work either, then you could also use it to, fix, like I said, crosses, cars, bridges, your parents' relationship, and even your financial debts. If you don't trust me, hear from my good friend Harambe. You hear that? Harambe is a pretty smart guy. Well, anyways, use my code BlackChrist33 to get 25% off your next order of Gorilla Glue. Now let's get back to this video.
So the church hierarchy in the 18th century was a little different than you would think. So let's think at the bottom. At the bottom, there was like the priests and the parsons. What they really did was they were the ones keeping all the records and everything that like the people need, like birth, death, marriage records. They had that all down. And they would also be the ones giving to charity, and they were the ones giving education to all the people in their community. And like above them was the princes and the monarchs. They were at the top because they had control over the churches. The princes and the monarchs were the ones that chose strictly what personnel were in the churches, and as well they made detailed rules in the churches that the church people had to follow. Even though the monarchs did have control over the churches, each country in Europe did like slightly different than the other ones. In Spain, since the church was closely associated with the government, what they kind of did there was the government wouldn't allow for any papal proclamation to be said unless the government had approved it beforehand.
Hey, Spain, could I, please get, a new, church?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
I said no.
I'll literally die.
Nah, you're gonna be
Please.
fine. Don't worry.
No, you don't understand.
I do understand.
Please.
You're fine. You're literally fine. You're fine. Oh, you weren't lying. Oh, damn. Well, he's dead.
It's the same with Portugal. Portugal had a real close connection with its church. They were really close together, saying that in any religious enthusiasm, there would be a burst of new churches and monasteries all over Portugal. So then in France, the monarchs were the ones to choose the bishops as well as the ones to issue laws regarding any church affairs.
Oh, God. It's not what it looks like. I promise you. It's not what it looks like. Turn off the cameras. Turn up.
And then in Austria, Joseph II got rid of contemplative orders and instead only allowed for orders that focused on teaching, nursing, and other practical works. Then we get to Catholic piety. During the 18th century, Catholics and Protestants' practices looked a little different from each other. Catholic churches had this beautiful Baroque arch spread throughout the church, while in Protestant churches, it was just kind of empty, nothing really there.
Boring.
And then Catholics participated more in formal worship than Protestants did.
Hello, God. Can you get me just 1,000,000 bottles of Gorilla Glue? That's all I ask for. Just 1,000,000 bottles.
No. Bro, I'm not a genie, right?
I'm sorry.
Are you stupid? Bro, you don't just put your hands together and get whatever you want. I'm not Santa Claus. Dude, just you're making this up for a while. Just leave it.
And during the 18th century, Catholicism had grown a lot stronger due to the fact that European churches had an integral role in community life and popular culture.
California
my
girls,
Jesus.
Yeah. Play the Christ chord.
So good.
Yeah. Let's go.
Woo.
Let's
Me.
go. Oh yeah. Let's go. Christ chord.
That wasn't necessary.
With the growth of Catholicism came the creation of a different sect called Jansenism. Jansenism was created by Cornelius Jansen, and what it did was emphasize the heavy weight of original sin and accepted the doctrine of predestination. As Jansenism began to grow, the Pope was getting a little worried. So, what does he do? He outlaws it, calling it heresy. Editing Jesus here, and I just realized that I forgot to mention who was Jansenism appealing to during that time. And Jansenism was appealing to Catholics that were looking for any religious renewal. Forgot to mention that fact. Editing Jesus, back to editing. Finally, let's talk about the marginal beliefs and practices happening during the 18th century. Peasants during this time had kind of shifted towards more marginal and even pagan beliefs. An example of this happened during the Feast of St. Anthony. During this feast, priests were expected to bless salts and breads because Catholics believed that saint relics could bring fortune to them. Another example is with the fact that Catholics would bury bulls alive at crossroads to ward off epidemics of hoof and mouth disease. The people would also go to healing springs, expecting them to heal many different ailments that they had.
Bro, this place is nice. I'm loving it here. You know it's got healing properties, right?
This place is so nice. I can already feel the bubonic plague leaving my body. Oh my gosh, I can already feel the hunger going away. This is awesome.
I still have herpes.
Dude, you know you just ruined the entire vibe of the hospital. We're trying to chillax.
Then, during Lent, some men would try to jump over bonfires while yelling and screaming like complete madmen. They did this because they thought it would help their crops grow, as well as protect them from any future illnesses.
Bro, what are you doing?
I was just, making sure that my crops grow for the season and I don't get sick. Trust me, if you jump over this bonfire during Lent, you'll be fine. Haven't got sick in so long. Oh.
All this craziness caused people to start to hate popular beliefs. Because of the growing hate of popular beliefs, witch trials slowly began to die down because the elites started to dismiss any kind of superstitious claims people would make. Like if the common people walked up to them saying, "Oh my gosh, they did this," the elites would be like, "I don't really believe you." And this caused for the end of witch trials as a whole. And the last witch trial occurred in England was in 1682. And then that same year, French prohibited witch trials.
This is stupid. Let's stop doing this.
No,
Let's go. How does she look like?
Wait, I want to come too. I'm going to join you guys. Someone will save her.
That's it for your Black Jesus production for the day. Hope you enjoyed, and I want you to hit that like button if you loved it. And if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.
Black Jesus, Black Jesus, Black Jesus, Black Jesus, Black Jesus, Black Jesus. The video is over.